The deadline is approaching. In just over 1 month's time, the chance to showcase your company's achievements by winning an IFW award will have passed. The IFW Awards is the industry standard for excellence and speaks volumes about your company. Perhaps your company will have its name in the IFW Hall of Fame by winning an award. The awards is being held at Planting Bankman Gardens in central London, and to enter, all you need to do is visit the IFW Awards website at www.ifw-net.com and click on the Awards tab.
IFW Radio, another reason why freight is great.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another IFW News Roundup with me, Damien Brett, IFW's Chief Reporter, and joining me in a minute will be Katarina Kerr, a reporter on IFW, who's going to talk you through this week's most read stories from the IFW website. Before that, I'm just going to pick out one of the stories we've written this week and give you my thoughts on it. Not that you want to hear them, but I've got to do something to fill this time up, so that's what I'm going to do. It's been a bit of a weird week over here in the UK. We've had terrible weather. June's supposed to be one of the nicer months of the year, but it's not been good, and it's made it a bit worse for me because we've actually got a leaking roof where I live. So we've been really feeling the weather conditions. If you want to make any donations to Damien's Roof Appeal or the Fix Damien's Roof Appeal, you can visit the IFW website, and there's a link to the fund there. But after you've donated that, you can carry on listening to the news roundup. So as well as it being a weird week weather-wise over here, we've had a bit of a weird week on the news front. Not much has been going on, but what there has been that we've written about has been quite interesting. Some, not necessarily earth-shattering breaking news, but a few interesting little nuggets have appeared. One of them, a story I wrote, which has been really interesting, is an analyst called Sea Intel Maritime carried out a bit of research, and what they did was they set up a fake company. And when I say set up, they basically set up a website, and they posed as this company looking to transport 2 containers of garden goods. I'm not sure what the garden goods were, but garden goods from Asia, firstly to the US, so Trans-Pacific trade, and secondly to Europe. And what they did was, purely using electronic communications, they tested shipping line and NVOCC responses to requests for rates. The idea being that it was kind of a measure of customer service levels, and the response they got back was quite incredible. So on the Trans-Pacific request, they sent the request for freight rates out to 33 different carriers, 33 different companies, 22 of which were shipping lines and 11 of which were NVOCCs. I should say non-vessel operating common carriers, basically people who buy space on ships but don't operate the ships. So of those 33 requests, they only received a total of 9 quotes. And 5 of those 9 asked for extra information for internal reasons. And when you think 9 out of 33, that's quite a poor response. And out of those 9 received, Sea Intel said an importer new to the business would have difficulty interpreting 6 of them because of the number of abbreviated surcharges that were included. The quotes also varied quite significantly, with one shipping line quoting below market prices. That was without any sort of negotiation. That was just after requesting, and bearing in mind there was only 2 containers. It gives you some indication of how shipping lines go about their business, while another almost quoted double what the other shipping line quoted. One NVOCC even provided 2 different quotes from separate offices for the same shipment. So even the same company can't even agree on quotes. None of the carriers quoted the BAF that was recommended by the Trans-Pacific Stabilisation Agreement, although all the NVOCCs did. And of the 24 that provided a quote, only 5 responded to give a reason why they weren't interested in carrying the cargo. On the Asia-Europe study, there's a similar response. 19 carriers and 8 NVOCCs were contacted, so that's 27 companies in total, and only 11 sent out quotes. And of the 16 companies that didn't provide a quote, only 1 gave a reason. Now, I raised the debate about whether this was typical on IFW's LinkedIn group, which if you're not a member of, you should join in debates about this. And quite an interesting response. A lot of people kind of, made an excuse for the people that didn't respond, saying, well, it was low volumes, why would they want to respond? Or saying that unless you're already a customer, unless you've got an account with some of the NVOCCs or shipping lines, they don't want to carry the cargo. And while I can kind of see that as a bit of an excuse for not providing a quote, to not respond at all, to not say why you're not providing a quote, I think that's where the customer service really failed. And also, although it's small amounts of volume, I mean, what's to say that this company won't grow in size over the years and start shipping more? So, just completely ignoring someone, I'm sure you've experienced it from companies over the years, is quite frustrating. So that for me was quite disappointing, especially when you have Maersk Line talking about how the industry needs to improve its online sales and its transparency and its basic usability. And you've got a situation here where out of 33 rate requests sent out, only 9 are responding on the Trans-Pacific, and a lot of those, of the 24 that didn't respond, only 5 are given a reason, and that can be seen as a bit rude, maybe. I don't know, maybe I'm getting this completely wrong, but if you've got an opinion on that, drop into the LinkedIn group. We've also got a discussion on there about Maersk Line's manifesto for the future, which I mentioned last week. I should actually mention next Friday we're doing a Friday focus on that subject, and I've just interviewed Maersk's Chief Commercial Officer about the manifesto and exactly how they're going to implement it, and they've got quite a few interesting developments coming along. And they're asking the industry to step up, or their customers to step up their game as well. It was mentioned that about 20% of containers don't actually arrive, 20% of bookings don't actually arrive at the port, which shocked me quite a lot. And Maersk Line have got some interesting strategies to try and improve that percentage as they look to improve reliability. And I'm going to be writing a news report on that pretty soon, so keep an eye out. Anyway, that's enough for me. Don't forget to enter the IFW Awards. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but it's a great event. Last year was a real brilliant night. Everyone had a really good time. So get on the IFW website, click on the awards tab and put your company up for an IFW award. It's a great bit of industry recognition. Anyway, I'll hand over to Kat now. He's going to tell you what you've been clicking on this week.
IFW Radio, another reason why freight is great.
We thought we were doing well. We thought we had all the bases covered. The market's sewn up. And then our competitors entered the IFW Awards and won it. We're so happy for them. Yeah, we are, really. Why don't you enter the IFW Awards and showcase your excellence? Visit ifw-net.com for details on how to enter. Wish we had.
IFW Radio, another reason why freight is great.
Thanks, Damien. Now for the top 5 most read stories of the week. The fifth most read story of the week, with 719 views, is idle box ship fleet at its smallest for 3 years. The world's idle container ship fleet has reached its lowest level since August 2008, but uncertainty remains as overcapacity on all main trade routes has led to poor utilisation levels and severe rate erosion. Research by Paris-based Alphaliner shows the idle container ship fleet has effectively returned to pre-crisis levels. At the beginning of June, Alphaliner recorded only 63 idle ships, the equivalent of 80,000 TEU, and it expects the figure to fall by a further 20,000 TEU in the next few weeks. It also said the number of ships of above 1,000 TEU in long-term layup had fallen to less than 15, including a handful of mothballed US flagships. However, Alphaliner warned that if demand failed to pick up strongly in the next 2 months, the return of surplus ships by charterers could lead to an increase in the idle fleet by September. Okay, and in fourth place, with 721 views, it's logistics firms raise fears over the Olympic Games. UK logistics and transport firms have raised their concerns that restrictions placed on them during next year's Olympic Games may make it difficult for them to cater for the increased demand. The Freight Transport Association has revealed that concerns were growing among its London members that the Olympics could disrupt supply chains for up to 3 months. Logistics operators claim the narrowing and in some cases shutting of normal delivery windows will pose a significant threat to companies in the supply chain striving to meet the additional £2.8 billion increase in spending by tourists that it's forecast. The third most read story of the week, with 926 views, is IATA comes under fire. The CEO of Qatar Airways spearheaded a stinging attack by airlines on the International Air Transport Association last week. During IATA's annual general meeting in Singapore, Akbar al-Bakr claimed the association was run by the few for the few and that it lacked transparency. He also hit out at the amount of money IATA spent on travel and other expenses. The Qatar CEO pointed out that IATA had spent $18 million US dollars on travel last year, $58 million on data processing and IT, and $29 million on outsourcing and consultants. Fellow Gulf carrier Emirates also called for greater dialogue to ensure IATA was more transparent, while International Airlines Group, the holding company of British Airways and Iberia, wanted clarity on the voting process of board members. The second most read story of the week, with 1,000 views, is Maersk, the smooth operator. Well, this is a story written by Mels Burr, a container freight derivative broker at ACM GFI, and he gives some insight into Maersk's manifesto. You can find all the details of this on the IFW website if you search Maersk, the smooth operator, or any of those words. And moving on to the first most read story of the week, which is tough times for smaller importers as carriers ignore requests for quotes. And that got viewed 1,015 times. Shipping lines and NVOCCs regularly ignore email requests for prices on small cargo shipments and use unintelligible industry jargon and offer significantly different rates when they do a quote, it has been claimed. Analysts see Intel Maritime recently posed as an importer to find out how well carriers and NVOCCs responded to email requests for rates on a shipment of 2 40-foot containers carrying garden equipment on the Trans-Pacific and Asia-Europe trade. Sea Intel sent out 33 rate requests to 22 carriers and 11 NVOCCs for a Trans-Pacific voyage. Only 9 companies managed to provide a rate, and 5 of them asked for extra information for internal reasons. And of the 9 quotes received, Sea Intel said an importer new to the business would have difficulty interpreting 6 because of the number of abbreviated surcharges included. The quotes also varied significantly, with one shipping line quoting below market prices despite the low volumes and with no haggling, while another quoted almost double that amount. So that brings us to the end of this week's news roundup. For more news, you can visit ifw-net.com, or alternatively, you can take part in industry discussions by tweeting us at twitter.com/ifwnet, or by liking our page on Facebook, which you can find by going to facebook.com/news-ifw, or you can join our LinkedIn group by searching IFW Cargo on LinkedIn.
IFW Radio, another reason why freight is great.